Casting from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful eyes of the Empire and on the fringes with the New Republic. Join your hosts Garrett K. Jones, Brian Karasik, and John Mark Tolley as they discuss the various facets of the saga's lore and characters, review the films, and discuss every tidbit of news coming out of Lucasfilm. Remember, this isn't just your Star Wars, this isn't just my Star Wars, this is our Star Wars. This is the way. And welcome back for another awesome episode of War of the Stars. We are your co-hosts, Garrett K. Jones, and of course, I can't believe it's not the Senate, Brian Karasik.
You're too young for that joke. There used to be a chain of yogurt restaurants that their claim was our frozen yogurt is so good, I can't believe it's not yogurt. Or wait, I can't believe it's.
I always hear that phrase and think I can't believe it's not butter, and I'm always imagining Fabio with way too much hair getting into whatever is being sprayed on with the I can't believe it's not butter.
I think Fabio and Antonio Banderas should not advertise for anything because they're both just too sexy for it. A comedian I like, Chris Hardwick, has a really good bit about that. He's like, the Nasonex B should not be voiced by Antonio Banderas. He's just too sexy. Oh, Nasonex, I'm going to pull the mucus out of your nose.
I am Puss in Boots.
To this day, Antonio Banderas is singing in Desperados, some of my favorite Western music.
Really?
Well, how you doing, Gary? Good to see you.
What?
I was just saying, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. It's a hairless episode this week. We've lost Mark for the weekend.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling well, and we're hoping that he gets better. I'm sure he will. I think he's just
when he comes back. Let's have wigs next week. Let's have toupees on it. What? And just not even acknowledge it.
Yes.
How long was I gone?
I think my mom's got some black wig that she used for Halloween one year.
Did you see the joke that was going around as soon as the Artemis rocket took off? They're like, okay, so we've got a limited amount of time for everyone on Earth to get Planet of the Apes costumes. And just really, really mess with the crew.
That was so much fun.
That was better than
They could have at least done it for Mission Control.
Yeah. For sure. That was better than my let's all hide idea, which I think would have been fun. The astronauts come back, they're like, guys?
What the hell happened?
Hello? We did that once, my senior English class, we did that once. The teacher went to the bathroom, and our big idea was we were gonna all hide while she was gone. And then so when she'd come back to an empty room, she never came back. I don't know how she got onto it, but she never came back. We're outside the room, outside peeking in the windows, and she just didn't come back. And then we all got in trouble because we're all outside the building. You win again, Mrs. Shields.
So this week on War of the Stars, we are picking up a thread from last week's episode. We were talking about the Ewoks and the lore. This week, we're talking Wicket for Good, specifically the original Triple W, that is Wicket W. Warrick, which I've always wanted to know what the W stands for, and what was that? What was his middle name?
It's Wystri, Wystri.
Wystri?
Which is, it's okay. So this is funny to me. Now, I think obviously the characters have to have recognizable names because they have to print something on the merchandise, which is how Ponda Baba was Walrus Man for 30 years. But at what point, who is pronouncing the word Wicket? His name isn't Wicket. His name is, it's not, that's not his name. But okay, let's call him that. That's fine.
Maybe they named him after, George Lucas's favorite goalpost.
Yeah, or that's true. Or I don't know how many of our audience is familiar with the game of cricket. And those of you who play cricket will can agree. His
favorite goalpost.
It's the most confusing game present. There's a Family Guy bit about it that I won't do justice, but it's ridiculous. It's
Like baseball, but it's not baseball.
There's entirely too many men on the field. It's very confusing, and there's a lot of men wearing helmets who don't seem like they should be wearing helmets, and a lot of men not wearing helmets who seem like it would be a very good idea to be wearing helmets. And it's very strange.
And then at some point, the batter can tackle the bowler.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think I could be wrong on that. I've never actually watched cricket.
Okay. I've watched a lot of it when I was young. I was raised British, so I grew up on Rupert and the Wombles and Danger Mouse and watching cricket, but I was young enough to not understand it. I'm a nerd enough that I already didn't like sports. So like 3-4 years old, I'm like, can I just play D&D, please? Can someone please invent Dungeons & Dragons so I can play?
I remember Danger Mouse. I also remember Count Duckula.
Count Duckula, yes, excellent.
Yeah. But
Duckula.
It was the thing that got me into drinking T8 and tomato juice, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. Clamato juice. Oh.
Not clamato, just regular tomato juice.
Yeah, Clamato and clove cigarettes for like the goth vamp kids. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very early to mid 90s.
In the mid 90s, I spent a period of time wearing all black, like to the extent that I would cut the tags off my jeans. So like, no advertising, bro. Or no, it wasn't bro. It was like, I'm not going to advertise for the corporate America, like, whatever. Anyway, I cut the Levi tags off my jeans. But having a shaved head and wearing all black, a lot of the goth guys in the Navy mistook me for one of their own. And now it's a whole different thing, buddy.
I remember. So I had this like I got a. So I was in high school when the whole Columbine thing happened. But I had been wearing trench coats before that. Like I borrowed my dad's old trench coat, tore it up in a motorcycle accident. But before I left for my year abroad in Japan, I got this really nice, brand new, top of the line London Fog trench coat. It had the interior lining that you could remove so it wouldn't be too heavy if it wasn't snowing or anything like that. But it was insulated against snow. And I love this thing, and I took it with me. And during the winter, I wore it on a particularly cold, rainy day, and I just happened to be wearing all black, and I was wearing wraparound, Jokeley sunglasses. And as I'm walking from the train station back to where I was living, a group of kids saw me, and they just started saying, "Oh, Metoriksu." And then I looked at myself, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I kind of look like a blonde Neo." Nice jacket. I love it.
So this is peak 90s right here. This is a custom painted demon from Ghost Rider 2099.
Okay.
This is obligatory barbed wire painted on here. And this
barbed wire ring
says isolate.
Yeah.
That is a reference to Con Air. If you remember Garland Green's Steve Buscemi's character, has isolate stenciled on the back of his jumper.
That barbed wire ring, nothing says like midfield lineman like a barbed wire ring around your arm. And like unless it was like 1994, if you were well past that into the early 2000s, you're probably got the same IQ as one of them.
That was 1995. I purchased that jacket in Bahrain. Nice. And it has been painted by a number of artists over the years on 3 different continents. And honestly, Garrett, I'm just proud I still fit into a jacket I bought in 1995. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've got a leather jacket from that I bought in Florence, Italy, at the outdoor Vecchio market, and it's really cool. I got it because it looked really, really sweet. And then it cost me about €200 at the time. I don't know how much it would be now, but I still 21 years later, I still fit into it.
Excellent.
So, anyway, we got to get back on our topic here.
Yeah.
Speaking of British things, it's kind of weird that Wicket has like the most British last name, Warwick. Of course, I mean, he was named after the actor who played him, Warwick Davis, who is famous for playing the Leprechaun in the Leprechaun movies opposite Jennifer Aniston, launching her career. And of course, he was famous for playing Professor Flitwick and Griphook, the Goblin, in the Harry Potter series, and there's one other I'm forgetting.
I believe Grip Hook was played in the very first movie by Vern Troyer, but voiced by Warwick Davis.
You might be right on that. I'd have to look it up.
That was before Rowling had enough clout to make sure that everyone who was in it. Let's see. I do have, while we're on the topic, and I do like a diversion that is also a ridiculously minute.
Oh, he played Willow. I knew I was forgetting one.
Oh yeah, a lot of people do, which is a shame because that's a very good movie.
I've only watched it one time, and it was in theaters, and it terrified the hell out of me.
Yeah, it's do you happen to remember the name of the two-headed dragon in that particular film?
That was the thing that came out, the goblin thing, right?
It was a two-headed dragon named the Ebersisk.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember what it was called. What I remember is the weird goblin thing being split in half by the wand. Whatever came out of it had little squiggly heads. It was kicked into a moat, and then it grew into a ginormous size. And being the overactive imagination bearing 5-year-old that I was, or 6-year-old, I remember thinking that it was going to come up the backside of my bunk beds and eat me.
So yes, I've confirmed this. Vern Troyer did play Grip Hook in Sorcerer's Stone, but only Sorcerer's Stone. And in my list of weird autographs that I want to get is, if I ever got Warwick Davis to autograph something, it would be a copy of Sorcerer's Stone, the only movie which he does not play Grip Hook in.
Interesting.
Among those others, I would get let's see, I would get Darth Maul. I would get Ray Park to autograph a Toad figure, because he played Toad in the first X-Men movie.
Yep.
But I think it'd be fun to see him in a celebration and be like, "What are you doing here?" It's like a crossover. Like, I don't know he's in Star Wars at all, but then have him autograph a plush of Toad from Frog and Toad Are Friends.
That's funny.
Like the wrong Toad. That's it for me, is like a really deep reference to some character they played, but then get that character wrong. Did I tell you about Little Italy for Anakin, for Hayden Christensen?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's a good one. And I think, and folks at home, Garrett's heard this one, but if I were to ever pay to get a George Lucas autograph, I would do two things, and then I would get kicked out of the convention for these two reasons, and I would deserve it. First off, Mr. Lucas, it's such a privilege to meet you. I'm such a fan. Could you make it out to lucky eBay winner? He's notoriously prickly about that. There's video of him like lecturing something. I'm probably gonna see this on eBay tonight. Like, wow, dude! Like, I paid $200 for this signature. Can you just like go with it? But then as he's signing it, assuming he signs, he agrees. I don't think I would actually do that, but it would be fun to actually, Mr. Lucas, could you actually sign it young George Lucas? I'm not a fan of your later work. And that's how to get escorted out.
So yeah, I would have him, if I ever got George Lucas's autograph, I would have it on a copy of Beverly Hills Cop 3.
I didn't know he was associated with that film.
He's a tourist at the theme park in that movie.
Oh, brilliant. That's really good. I like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you gotta, if you get Kareth Race, who's the actress who plays Starbuck. Is it
yeah.
I have really hit my 50s because I used to just have this stuff like at my fingertips.
Katie Sackhoff.
Thank you, Katie Sackhoff. I actually definitely have her sign a Starbucks mug.
Nice.
And if I could get a Starbucks mug printed with some sort of a Star Wars thing, that would be pretty fun. I would like that. She's like, what?
Get a Yeti and slap a Starbucks sticker and a Star Wars sticker on.
Not a Yeti, a Wampa. Did I show you this?
No.
So I got this decal. This is my Yeti can cooler.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I printed this up. So it's just sort of random techie Google stuff.
That's cool.
And I call it wide array, multi-platform athermal sleeve or athermal canister, which spells Wampa. Because I mean, if it's a Yeti, of course, in Star Wars it would be a Wampa.
That makes sense. So, all right, let's kind of we're getting way off topic here. So what we know about Wicket, he's a male Ewok. Yes, we are assuming his gender. He's a scout and a warrior on the forest moon of Endor, and he assists the Rebel Alliance with defeating the Empire. He was born 7 BBY, so by the time of Return of the Jedi, he's approximately 10, maybe 11 years old. So he's only a kid when we encounter him, which is kind of weird.
As was Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis was 13 when Return of the Jedi premiered. Warwick Davis born in 1970.
Yeah, and so it's kind of interesting how they included him as a warrior at the ripe old age of 10.
Well, what's the life expectancy of an Ewok, barring any Imperial entanglements?
It doesn't really, like, nothing ever says. Like, I mean, they could be like 30, they could be 300. We don't know. I mean, but he's small. He's adorable. You know, he helps Leia take out a scout trooper, and then he takes her back to his pad. I mean, he's like the ultimate pickup artist. He did the one thing that Han Solo really couldn't have done.
I think Han Solo did okay.
He failed on it. It got too serious, and he's like,
Kylo Ren would testify that.
We got to drop cargo and we'll run.
Hey, we're going to get the explicit rating on this one.
Hey, not that kind of cargo. Jeez.
Well, it's on me. Now I'm the gross one. Fair enough.
So, yeah.
I think it's an interesting, and this is, I'm going to go a little deep cut on this because I think that is something that we don't really delve into too much in the Star Wars universe because we don't see a lot of first contact in the Star Wars universe, but it's an interesting conversation that we have between Leia and Wicket. For all we know, this is the first communication that a human has established with an Ewok. And for all we know, Ewoks have no understanding of Galactic Basic. It takes 3PO quite a while to get to communicate with them. And how many forms of communication is he fluent in? 6 million. So of his 6 million, it takes him a little while to feel his way through to Ewokery. I don't know the words, but so
not only that, but think about where it is in the galaxy. I mean, it's in the far reaches of the outer rim.
I don't know if I trust that description. It seems like every planet other than Coruscant and Naboo are described as being in the far reaches of somewhere or some backwater or something. Like, unless you live on Coruscant, you're just on the far reaches of somewhere.
There's some truth. But I'm I'm pulling up the official StarWars.com map, and come on, load faster. Okay, got it. I'm kind of trying to figure out where it is because, like, the outer rim is like there's way more planets in the outer rim than there are planets in the mid or the inner rim areas.
See, I think that whole backwater stuff is just in core propaganda.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm sorry that we didn't pave our entire planet Coruscant, but should we, just because you say we're on the back, we're in a backwater, you had to core out our entire world to the point that it collapsed entirely just to build your stupid shopping district. I do think that, I'm making a joke, but I do think in many cases planets are described as a backwater from the point of view of Coruscant, and I think that the Coruscanti are largely snobs about that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, if you lived in what was considered the center of the galaxy,
and I do, Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Well, I mean, think about this though. I mean, the Coruscant is essentially the New York City of the galaxy, and think about how they treat the rest of the galaxy. I mean, they
Sure. Having been to New York City within the last 3 months, I will say hard pass. Even in an ice storm, it's too crowded. No, thank you.
Yeah, I still haven't been. My brother has. I would like to go at least once. My sister lives in New York. I have a friend of mine who lives in Brooklyn, but I don't really have any real need to go anytime.
So you're familiar with the I Heart NY, like you see it everywhere when in New York.
Yeah.
I made one of my own that says I like NY as a friend. It was fun, you know. I wouldn't say I loved it. It was okay. We had a good time.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
We did a lot of shopping. I got some great boots I really like. We saw the Wax Museum. I didn't care for the Wax Museum as much as the London one. Have you ever been to a Madame Tussauds Wax Museum?
Yeah.
Which one?
The one in London.
Oh, good. So they had a Star Wars there, right? Mm-hmm. When I was there, they had the Star Wars exhibit. They did not have a Star Wars exhibit in New York, but they did have a Marvel exhibit, which allowed me to stand next to an empty wall and take a picture of me with Sue Storm, which nobody but me thought was funny. And now you. Thank you very much.
I love that.
Now,
that's given that I would do.
Thank you. Given that my wife is not a Marvel fan and my daughter is 8, I'm like, oh, look at this amazing exhibit. Sue Storm is so realistic, and both of them are just like. And my kid caught on. She's like, Dad, is that somebody invisible? Like, yes, it is. Isn't it great? And she's like,
oh, that's awesome.
My daughter goes, that's dumb. And I said, no, honey, I know you're learning a lot of words so fast, and sometimes you still get them wrong, and that's okay. Don't be embarrassed. The word you're trying for, honey, is awesome. She said, sound it out for me. I said, aw. She said, aw, some, awesome, stupid. Dang it.
Dude, your 8-year-old has caught on to sarcasm really well.
She's watching vintage 90s cartoons like Powerpuff Girls and Loud House, and she's getting a proper education.
Introduce her to the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, actually, there's a Call of Cthulhu episode I'd really like to get her involved in. That's
yes,
good.
There is.
So I think it's just to finish up my point there briefly. I was a big fan of the movie Arrival with Amy Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And watching the negotiation where she learns how to explain, like, how to build a system of common language. And last weekend we saw Project Hail Mary, where we see a little bit of that as well with Ryan Gosling. Although my wife has a little bit of, I mean, she likes Ryan Gosling. Who doesn't? But she has a limited tolerance for the Andy Weir genre of handsome man alone for 2 hours with his own brilliance, which is pretty much what Andy Weir writes. It's good fiction. But we already saw with The Martian, it didn't quite land well with her on Project Hail Mary. And I will confess, I took a bit of a nap in the exposition part of the movie. Like, let's get to the alien and stuff. But anyway, seeing Leia interact with Wicket and sort of forge a relationship with her, I thought that was really interesting. And of course, there's no time for it in the movie, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that and just learn how they build that. How they build that trust in that relationship, because the Ewoks are an interesting species because they do look cute, but they're obviously savage beasts. And Wicket at 10 is one of the highly respected warriors from what we see. He wasn't. Let's see.
Let's just say as a warrior, he at the age of 10, he is more highly respected in his people group than Jar Jar Binks was in his people group.
Easy now. Jar Jar, I think, gets some undue hate. I don't
they
think...
They had entire policies within their city because of him.
Okay, granted.
Gungans had warning labels is because Jar Jar tried it.
So I'm Gen X. I'm solid Gen X. And somebody posted the other day a picture of Wile E. Coyote sitting on a giant rocket. And the caption is... when we were kids, we didn't need warning labels that say, don't try this at home. Like, yeah, we did. We are why they have them now. Not all of us made it.
Oh, dude. Don't get me started. I've got a story about my cousin Nathan when we were all living in Arizona, and he tied two M80s, he duct taped them together and lit both ends, and just
They
sat
say-
there and watched the fuses going.
Sure.
He still
mean,
has both ends. And
I knew Oh wow! I knew a guy who had a zip line in his backyard, which he had constructed with a length of telephone wire. I don't know where he got it. I don't know how he had access to this telephone wire, but the thing you hung off of was the front fork of a bicycle, and you just sort of hooked it on, and it was very easy to come back off. Like it wasn't secured on there. It was just like balanced, and so I saw him
like the zip line that Kevin McAllister made in Home Alone.
Yes, exactly like that. Although this would have been some years before that movie came out, and I saw him more than once come off of that thing at some altitude and at some speed, and I'm like, why are you still alive? And he is an assistant principal now of a junior high school.
So that's why he's still alive. So he can help the little idiots know what not to do.
It's funny being as old as I am and seeing people that I grew up with in positions of responsibility and remembering things that I've seen them do that we would have been arrested for.
Oh, dude.
And I'm just glad there were no Ring cameras or cell phones in our youth. But at any rate, I did think that was interesting. And you know, even in 1983, I had, as I mentioned last week, in 1983, I had already been Palpatine for Halloween 2 years, and I was already going on the third year when this one came out. So I was already pretty much predisposed to dislike the Ewoks as being, you know, rebel scum, as I would have said it back then. But even so, I thought they were a good addition to the canon. I had several Ewok figures. I had the Ewok playset. I had the little glider and all that stuff. It was a great addition to the canon. Mostly because of the ferocity of these little teddy bears. It's like the scare bears, like I call them. They came out of nowhere. And
because of how small they were, they blended in with their environment really, really easily.
Oh, they would have to.
Well, that scene after Luke and everybody else gets captured in the net, like when they just emerge from the forest, that's actually really good cinematography.
Yes, I like that scene.
Because they're on set the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
They had multiple cameras rolling to get different angles, but like I was looking at the behind the scenes, like the Ewoks are on set the entire time. They're in the shot. Those wide angles, they're there, and you can't see them. And the fact that they just come up emerging out of the ferns and the bushes, and like, holy crap!
The Ewoks have, I mean, they were made for kids too. I think, I forget where I've read this, but I think at that point Lucas had small children at that point, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think that affected his storytelling, and not in a bad way. I just think it has to. Who you are as a person changes how you tell a story.
Yeah.
But I think the Ewoks have been cutified even more in the decades since. Like there's onesies, and you see people at conventions pushing a stroller, and they've got their kid is in an Ewok costume.
I mean, to be fair, my one of my groomsmen at my wedding, his 1-year-old was our ring bear, and because he had a ring bear, not bearer, not.
I heard you.
And
I saw How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, just make it sure. And we actually got him a Wicket onesie to wear during the reception or during the ceremony.
Shout out to the podcast "How I Made Your Mother," being done by Josh Radnor, where he and Chris Carter are listening or rewatching the entire series.
Nice.
I'm not going to assume they're watching this show,
but our show. Although if they're the true Star Wars fans, they claim to be in the show. They should. I
love a rewatch podcast. I'm listening to Office Ladies, and this one I skipped. I didn't watch Scrubs, but I know that those guys are doing a Scrubs podcast in that same venue. But at any rate,
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And there's a certain demographic that will always have like the Ewok bikini outfits on, and that's cool.
That's where I draw the line, because at no point for me should they ever be considered attractive or sexy.
Context.
But I mean, you know, there are people who think that being
I have seen a Hut Slayer Ewok. I've seen two versions of it. I've seen a version where it's just a girl like with ears and then the getup.
That too.
But I've also seen one where it's a full Ewok costume, like with the chubby bear,
The gold.
which I think I like that one better. I think that's cool.
So not right. That's all 9 kinds of wrong.
I think it's the same guy, but at two different celebrations, I saw a guy who on day one he is Malakili, the Rancor Keeper.
Oh yeah.
And on day two, he's in a Hut Slayer Leia costume.
I think I've seen that guy.
Own it, brother. I mean, I couldn't pull it off. I'm glad you can. I love it to death. More power to him.
Yeah.
He and Thrawn Swanson are my favorites. Have you seen that guy? He's amazing. He's a guys. Google Thrawn Swanson if you're following the home game. It's great. The guy is just head to toe blue with the red eyes. But he looks like he honestly looks like Nick Offerman. I from a distance I thought it was him. I really did. He's got the mustache, and it's his mustache. It's not it's his hair, his mustache. I think he got the sweater from wardrobe. Like it's a really amazing.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I think the Ewoks is interesting, and this is kind of funny, kind of a bit of a joke. But how do they sew so well with those little paws? Like they make all their own little hoods and capes and stuff, and those nets.
I don't know.
And I don't think anybody thinks that they made that dress they gave Leia. But even so, you know, they maybe they altered it a little. I don't know. But they're definitely crafters, and it makes me. It puts me in mind of. I think you reminded me last week that they were originally going to go with Wookiees for that scene, weren't they? Didn't they?
Yeah. The original idea was that these were supposed. No, it was Mark who said that.
Okay.
The original idea is that these were supposed to be Wookiees. This was the original version of them, or we were going to see more Wookiees on Endor, and because they couldn't get enough Wookiee costumes, kind of the same situation that they ran into with they made them smaller, and they did a casting call specifically for shorter people, so they could keep whatever they had, and then they just tailored them to being
sure
instead.
You get twice as many Ewoks as you do Wookiees with that.
Right, and so it was kind of interesting. But again, talking about what we were talking about last week, about how like the convergent evolution of these two very different, very disparate species from different worlds, and yet they're they're very similar in their belief structures and their religion and spirituality, and then it all got ripped off by James Cameron. James Cameron, you can, if you want to sue me on that, my email is KathleenKennedy@lucasfilm.com.
I think he's too busy defending the lawsuit from Fern Gully.
Right. Or Pocahontas.
Guys, I've said this before. I will go to my grave. Avatar is just Fern Gully with more CGI. It's the exact same story.
And a weaker villain. I mean, come on. You can't be better than Tim Curry.
I really like the villain in Fern Gully. It's one of my wife's favorite commercials or movies from that era.
Yeah. It was a good Don Bluth movie.
And isn't that a reunion of Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis?
Hold on.
Also paired up in Pump Up the Volume, a completely unrelated film, but still good.
It is Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis. That's the first pairing of them I've ever seen. The second pairing was in Broken Arrow.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yes.
Travolta distracts me in that one. Who can see anyone else in that film with Travolta?
Dude, Travolta just makes everything seem so good.
Okay, so this is funny. My wife and I tried to watch Broken Arrow, and we have tried to watch The Road to Wellville.
Dude, that's such a great movie.
These are two movies that are completely unconnected, except in this one way. I have learned from watching movies with my wife over the last 19 years of marriage that there are a lot of movies that I watched and liked because they were what was on while I was underway.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not have watched them if I had anything else to do.
Yeah.
And Road to Wellville is one of them.
It's so madcap and so random, but it had such a great cast. I mean, you had
Hunter,
Fonda, John Cusack, Dana Carvey, Matthew Broderick, Hopkins, Laura
Holly
Flynn.
Hunter, right?
What?
Holly Hunter?
Was she in it?
I think she's Matthew Broderick's wife. I think you may be mistaking Bridget Fonda for her.
No, you're mistaking Bridget Fonda.
Is it Bridget Fonda?
Yeah, it's Bridget Fonda.
Oh. It should be Holly Hunter. But yes, Hopkins is the reason that movie's good. My own stool is fresh as bread, hard as a stone, and smells like fresh bread.
It's so bizarre and over the top, and yet it's so funny.
Absolutely.
And what's great is it's based on a real person, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who created the Kellogg Company and specifically created cornflakes to help people with their sexual urges.
Yes, and by help we mean eliminate.
Yes, and he was like so anti-sugar, and now like you look at all of the stuff that the Kellogg's Company puts out, it's 99% sugar.
Well, sure. I mean, it's America. What are you going to do? The whole world is like a Crispix. Corn on one side or rice on the other.
Dude, I love Crispix. They're so good.
Absolutely. So I think it's cool. The fun part about Warwick Davis being 13 when he was cast was he was 11 when he auditioned, and which puts him at 8 when Star Wars came out. So he's peak Star Wars fan, right? You're 8 years old in 1977.
Well, and the thing is I've seen interviews with him when he was a kid. He did not watch Star Wars when he was a kid. He wasn't like he knew about it, but he never saw it, so he wasn't all that familiar. So when he got the casting call, he just went not knowing anything about the series, and he got cast in it. And at that point, he started watching all the films that had been released at that point.
Oh, okay. Because what I had read was he was a big fan of the movie when he got cast.
Well, maybe I'm misunderstanding that. Like it for some reason I thought he didn't encounter it until after he got cast.
Have you seen that meme that says, a lot of Star Wars fans don't know this, but before being cast in A New Hope in 1977, Mark Hamill had never seen a Star Wars movie. That's a good one. I confess, like I knew this was coming, this episode was coming, and I tried to do a little Wicket research. There's not much out there for him. I wanted to bring more to the table for this episode, which is why I'm digressing so aggressively. I'm a fan of the Ewoks and Wicket in particular. I think he's a great character, and he does. And this is just Davis being a brilliant actor from even at that age. He does so much with no language and no facial expression. It's all just miming. It's all pantomime.
Yeah.
And Wicket is a fan favorite for decades, and Warwick Davis has become a fan favorite. He's basically the MC of every celebration I've ever been to, which good for him. I love him to death. He's the best. I loved he did an interview with Ian McDiarmid, which of course, the interview I watched in 19 in Chicago, and it was a great time. But it's such a tribute to Dave, or a testament rather to Davis's ability that he inhabited that character so thoroughly that inside a big shaggy rug where you can't see his face, can't hear his voice, he created a character that had such an appeal that people dress up as him and just fell in love with him for years. I think it's hard to top. I mean, him and Kenny Baker, just top of their game from start to finish.
Not only that, but I mean, you look at someone like Peter Mayhew, who, we never hear his voice. We never see his voice. Chewbacca.
Oh, sure. I couldn't hear the name yet, Peter Mayhew.
Yeah, and I mean, again, a character that everyone loves. Like, when you think about how many people were pissed off that, Chewbacca didn't get a medal at the end of A New Hope, only to get it after Leia died in Rise of Skywalker.
They retconned that in a comic book. There's a
I never
Chewbacca
understood
trade.
that.
Yeah. I think, isn't it just something simple, like there's nothing for him to pin it on or something? Like, I don't know. But guys, Velcro exists. Like, come on.
It was put around their neck. It was on a ribbon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you mentioned the Wookiee costumes. Of course, you're familiar with how they solved the Wookiee costume problem in the holiday special, right?
Yeah, the red robes.
Just choir robes, because Wookiees would, of course, wear red choir robes, and they're all just Chewbacca masks for like from a Woolworths. That's the best. There's nothing not funny about the holiday special.
Yeah.
Well, I've said my piece on Wicket. I like the character. I think it's an interesting role. I think he's the dichotomy between his willingness to hunt and kill these humans and then change his mind and hunt and kill those other humans instead, I think is a nice touch. And, but he's obviously made a lifelong friend in 3PO and Leia. And I think if he could take out Han, he certainly would, just to have a chance.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm sure Luke probably thought along the same lines too.
Have you read some like ecobiologist did a paper years ago on what the destruction of the Death Star would do to the ecosystem of Endor, and it was basically an extinction event. Like that level of catastrophe, like in orbit over Endor, would devastate life on Endor for generations. And
I mean, think about what happened when any of those starships fell onto a planet and they're leaking radioactive coolant or whatever.
Sure,
it's going to be an ecological disaster of global proportions. I mean,
well, every planet's only one ecosystem anyway, so they just move a little bit further over.
That's not true. Naboo has a varied ecosystem. It's one of the few planets.
Naboo is the one
that do.
That's true. I forgot about that.
And Yavin. Yavin, for some reason, has a varied ecosystem too.
Yavin?
Well, I mean, it's mostly forested, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, which is weird because it shouldn't be getting any direct sunlight of any kind because of the way it orbits the gas giant.
Okay, so you are the guy who corrects me on my wild, cynical misstatements every time I make them, as you've just done. And I'm gonna ask you something that I always comment on whenever people get real nitpicky about plot holes in the sequels. I like to point out things people forgive in Empire that they find unforgivable in Last Jedi.
Okay, well, you mean like the bombing runs?
Yeah, bombing run is a good example. And I want to touch on that. And this is a little bit off topic, but I'm getting there.
I'm with you.
A little leeway, Your Honor. I'll allow, Counselor, but mind yourself. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Law and Order. Okay, so a good example of this is we are angry that Rey does not drown in The Last Jedi. We see her fall into water.
Oh.
When I say we, members of the fandom, I don't know how many, but bearing in mind that I admin on a 30,000 member Star Wars group and on a 50,000 follower Star Wars page, so I see a lot of comments that don't get through because I delete them. So anyway, a measurable number, a non-zero amount of Star Wars fans were angry that Rey fell into water on Ahch-To and didn't drown. Like literally, now they don't say that. They don't say, why didn't she drown? They say, where did she learn to swim? That's a plot hole. She grew up on a desert. Where did she learn to swim? All right. It's not like she's like Michael Phelpsing her way in water. Yeah.
Hold on. First of all, let's correct this understanding. Those individuals who are commenting have a fundamental misunderstanding of the word plot hole.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'm with you on that. I'm just illustrating.
It's an inconsistency, but it's not a plot hole.
Yes. And I fully agree, because a lot of these same arguments, they define a plot hole as a question that I have not had answered yet. I made a meme about it. It's like, oh my god, The Last Jedi had so many plot holes. It's like they could make a whole other movie just answering them.
Right.
Yeah, because it's number 2 in a trilogy.
Well,
Anyway,
let me back up. A plot hole is an inconsistency in the narrative or character development of a book, film, or television show. However, because a character doesn't knows how to swim, or at least get themselves to the surface of some water, even though they grew up on a desert planet, doesn't mean that they're incapable of it.
Right. It's part of an overarching complaint series that we see with Rey, in that a lot of people have objections to how talented she is at things.
Right.
She fights well. Like, she fights off 2 goons at the beginning of Force Awakens, or she can fly the Falcon, and like doesn't crash it immediately. Now, the joke I make is we're watching a video game, and we just don't see when she dies and then presses start to continue. Right? Like, oh, you've crashed the Falcon, press start to continue. Like, now she knows how to not crash the Falcon. Like, she Googled it or whatever. But meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker touches, the first time he touches a starfighter, literally saves the world from an alien invading force. At age 9.
I definitely have a problem with that. Although, to be fair, a lot of what he was doing for the first 10 minutes he was in there was being on autopilot.
Yes. And a lot of people say, well, R2 was doing it. Oh, okay. Then is Anakin a great pilot or not? You know, you're like, which is it?
Well, at that point, I mean, he's a great pod racer, but like, I mean, think about what he was doing in there. Like, the first thing is, well, let's do a barrel roll. That should work. And he's just experimenting for half the time. And
sure.
Most of what he's doing is screwing around and not actually doing anything tactical or strategic. He's just messing around behind the controls. And more than likely, R2's like, man, this kid's an idiot. He's going to get me killed. You know, screw this. I mean,
right.
And he's probably doing something behind the scenes, because that's what R2 does. We've seen that.
That's what astromechs are for.
Right.
So my favorite of those is the bombing run, as you already mentioned, where we see the bombing ships are tall, right? Mm-hmm. They're stacked, bomb, 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 bomb. Now, we have already, as a fandom, agreed that all Star Wars ships have a perfect 1.0 gravity within the skin of the ship, right?
Right.
It's never explained. It's okay. We have it, right? Gravity exists inside a ship. We see people drinking. Every star battle, all the ships are aligned the same way. Up is always the same way. It's fine. Right. We're okay with it. So with that assumption, we drop a bomb. We open these doors. All of these bombs are affected by gravity. They begin to fall. This bomb leaves the ship and is now weightless, but it's being pushed by the rest of the bombs that are still affected by the gravity inside the ship. They continue to push it out. Now, all these bombs, now they're out of the ship. They are now unaffected by the ship's artificial gravity, but they are still affected by the laws of physics. And so the motion that they have obtained while under gravity persists, and hence they fall. George Lucas assigns 1.0 gravity to the inside of every ship and never explains it. We think it's fine. Rian Johnson implies that the laws of thermodynamics exist. It's a plot hole. It's bad writing. A crime has been committed. He should be fired. It's funny that way.
Well, and see, that's the thing. I never had a problem with that. Like, I know a lot of people did, but like, I mean,
yes.
The thing was, they were conveyor belt fed, not gravity fed, and so so if you watch what happens inside those bombers in The Last Jedi, they are actually they're pushing the bombs down through the opening. And they were.
My argument was more fun, but yours is better. Damn it!
And so it's pushing.
I'm gonna stop bringing things up to you, Garrett. I'm not speaking to you anymore.
So that once they
podcast over.
So once they hit that zero gravity or microgravity, you still have to. Wow! Oh man, that pissed off that you blacked out your camera. Golly.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because I did want to hear your take on this, because you tend to have good ones.
It's conveyor fed. They're pushed out, and so once they hit that, just like with anything in a zero-G environment, once you push something in a particular direction, it's going to go in that direction. But again, those bombs were also on a remote detonator. So they weren't going to just drop and hit and explode. Some of them were, but they were also armed beforehand. The last fighter, Rose Tico's sister, as she's piloting that or dropping the bomb, whatever, she hadn't armed them yet.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why we get the delayed explosion. Of course, the biggest issue with the physics is fire in space.
Well, and we see a number of times in Star Wars we see sound carry in space. So
right, and of course it's not meant to be diegetic. It's meant to be non-diegetic. So like the audience can hear it for the effect. The people in there can't hear it. However, the best use of diegetic sound in space, in any kind of like any kind of space thing, is Firefly. Because every time you see the Serenity get ready to launch and go at whatever light speed, warp speed, whatever they're using, you see the back of the ship and you hear the music, but you never hear the propulsion drive activate unless you're inside the ship. All sounds outside the ship have zero sound because sound does not carry in a vacuum.
Did we talk about the Firefly crossover reference in Rogue One?
No, there's one.
Next time you watch Rogue One, when K2SO takes off in the shuttle, click, 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 3 switches.
Oh, that's so Alan Tudyk.
It is. It's a specific reference to Alan Tudyk, and I forget who set that up. Somebody was like, "We got to have K2SO has to go click, click, click the 3 switches."
It would only be any better if there was little dinosaurs sitting on the dash.
That is true. Or if K2SO, like just for a second, he has like a Hawaiian shirt on.
Or better, he turns to someone and says, "Curse you and your inevitable betrayal.
I am a leaf on the wind. See how I float." So, okay, but this kind of technical analysis is exactly why I brought this up, because all of that preamble was to ask you this.
Okay.
When the Falcon travels from Hoth to Bespin in Empire Strikes Back, correct me if I'm wrong, they do not have a functioning hyperdrive.
That is correct.
Should they not have died of old age several times over in that trip? How far is it from Hoth to Bespin? They are adjacent, but they are still in different star systems.
Let me consult. The only reference I have for this, the West End roleplay game.
I knew you had a copy. The only one I have is Dark Side Sourcebook, so I was going to have to ask you.
Let me see what I can find here. Yes, we are nerds doing nerd things. Love us. And if you don't, you're bastards. Bastard covered bastards with bastard filling. There's a direct quote from one of my favorite TV doctors.
House?
Dr. Cox.
Oh. I didn't watch Scrubs.
Dude, Dr. Cox was like, he was quintessential for me in college.
I love that actor. He was great in Office Space.
He's great in pretty much everything he does.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's a gifted character actor.
Have you ever watched the Pentagon Wars?
No. You
have HBO Max.
I do.
It was a made-for-TV movie called. It's about the. You'll appreciate this, because it's all about the bureaucracy in the Pentagon, about the building of the Abrams fighting vehicle, and it has Kelsey Grammer, Carrie Elwes, John C. McGinley, and
I like it already.
Dude, it's got a fantastic cast, and it's all about the subterfuge going on within the Army, trying to prevent an Air Force colonel from being able to fully write off and say that the Abrams was the Bradley was a functional vehicle, because they kept trying to get it put into service as quickly as possible without really making sure that it was.
A while ago, you referenced Jennifer Aniston's presence in the Leprechaun movie, Garrett.
Yeah, the first one.
I like to say that for a lot of actors, everyone's got a leprechaun. And I'd like to ask, are you familiar with the Renee Zellweger, Matthew McConaughey version of Leprechaun?
They weren't in Leprechaun.
They were in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, though.
Yes, they were.
Both of them
Awful
together.
movie.
And both of them tried to get that movie to not get released because they were both like, they both blew up right after that movie was made. And they're like,
It was so terrible.
just like downplay that? I mean, McConaughey is an absolute wonder in that, like playing the leader of the hillbilly chainsaw family.
Yeah.
Artificial leg that's powered by TV remotes. It's great. And I think it's funny that they both tried to get the production company to shelve the movie, and instead the production company put their faces both on the cover like more prominently.
Yeah, what's kind of cool is like if you watch that performance that he gives, which is a great performance, it kind of paves the way for the kind of unhinged manic performance he gives in Frailty,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the performance he gives as Van Zant in Rain of Fire.
Oh yeah. Okay,
that's one of my favorite movies that he is in because it's such a different character for him.
So according to this, the online research I've done while you're researching Analog, Bespin and Hoth are located within the same sector, the Anahuac sector Ison corridor, relatively close in galactic terms, but still separated by a significant distance, often estimated between 1,150 and 5,000 light years.
That sounds about right.
Okay. The Millennium Falcon took weeks to travel this distance using a slow backup hyperdrive after its main drive, was damaged. So backup hyperdrive answers my next question, which is whenever people get too finicky about how could Rey swim, I used to joke like, you guys aren't going to be happy until The Last Jedi is 9 hours long and it shows Rey learning how to tie her shoes and learn how to brush her hair. Because like
I would just like to see her get some Force training.
Yeah, I didn't really care for the download explanation they got. Like when she linked up with Kylo Ren, she kind of like, got a data dump of his training. I didn't think that was. I mean, Luke.
That's not how a dyad in the Force works.
Luke got what 15 minutes of training on the Millennium Falcon from Kenobi, and that's it. I mean, what other training do we see Luke get?
Yeah.
And none of that was with the Force. I mean, he put the blast shield on and fights the little probe droid, and that's it. And that's kind of, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I always liked the concept of the Force being just sort of a generic good stuff happens to you. Like you can kind of lean on it and become luckier. It's not a series of skills that you learn, or at least growing up, it wasn't a series of skills that you learn to do this with the Force or that with the Force. It was just like you're Force sensitive, and so things work better for you in general. Even to the extent that you would reach for something that's out of your reach and it would jump into your hand. Not that you're focusing your will and making it do that, but that you need it, and so it happens. That's how I interpreted it.
Right, but if that were the case, Han would have been able to influence bounty hunters to leave him the hell alone.
But he wasn't Force sensitive, so he couldn't do that. Or I mean, within my child understanding of the Force, I know that's not how.
But if based on that understanding, if you just lean into it and good things happen to you, or bad things happen depending on how you lean into it. I mean, you don't have to be Force sensitive.
My interpretation was that's what being Force sensitive was. If you had Force powers, that's what it was you could use your Force sensitivity to affect positive change in the universe in your favor.
Okay, that makes more sense.
But I know that isn't the way that it works out. But we sort of accepted that with Luke and didn't accept it with Rey, and I always thought that was interesting. I don't think it's a she's a girl situation. I think it's just we are no longer 8 years old.
I think part of the issue comes down to the writing. Don't get me wrong. There are some heavy weaknesses in the writing for the original trilogy. as far as things that feel inconsistent. But for the most part, what you had is one person trying to be as consistent as they possibly could and handling the reins of the first entry and then passing those reins over to others who could direct the story while he directed the technical side of things, and they could work alongside each other. Whereas you had two different directors and multiple different writers come in, some with respect and reverence for the original source material, others
less so,
who didn't,
to say the least.
To say the least. And they all pitched in their own ideas based on what they thought of and what they liked and what they didn't.
I suppose we should be glad that J.J. Abrams didn't blow up Tatooine with red matter. I say that just to make you make that face. No, Garrett's going to block his camera.
No. I'm just going to have to steel myself against making a rant against the entire reboot trilogy, which, like,
I gotta say though, those reboots of Star Trek they were a gateway for my wife to get into Star Trek, which was fun. We only watched two of them.
Because she had a fascination with Carl Urban or Chris Pine?
Actually, it was because a number of our friends took a Facebook test to find out which Star Trek character you were. My wife took one and got Spock. And I took it and answered the questions in order to get Kirk. And she said, "Oh, what would happen if Kirk and Spock got married?" And I said, "Do not Google that. you will get an answer. It's not okay."
No.
But anyway, she was like, "Oh, this is interesting." And I like, she looked up what Star Trek was about, and she said, this is a movie, right? Yeah, it's a movie, sure. And so she was not interested in getting into starting someone off on Star Trek can be hard, because it's like, oh, do you like Time magazine? Well, here you have to read these 60 years of magazines. Yeah. So we just started with the reboot trilogy, the Chris Pine stuff.
It was funny. I was at my parents' house last night, and all of a sudden I hear a particular theme music, and I had a 50-50 chance of figuring out what the answer was. It was either Star Trek: The Next Generation, or an episode from that series, or it was Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I walk out, and and my dad's watching TV, and he goes, "Hey, do you know which Star Trek this one is?" And I look at it. All I have to do is tell by the pajamas that they're all wearing. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's Star Trek: The Motion Picture from 1979." He's like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, because they're all wearing pajamas.
I passed rank and recognition in boot camp because Star Trek rank is exactly like Navy ranks.
Right. And what's interesting is I was telling him, I said, "Yeah, you're going to get." He's like, "I don't think I've seen this one before. There are the parts I don't remember seeing." I'm like, "That's because you probably fell asleep because it's a really boring ass movie." And he's like,
okay.
"Dad, the odd numbered Star Trek movies are notorious for being bad. This is why we don't talk about the Final Frontier. It was a terrible movie."
Is that the one where they meet God?
Yes, and Spock's half brother, Sybok.
What does God want with a starship? So have we discussed Lower Decks now that Mark is not here to stop us?
We have, but we're starting to verge on talking about a completely different franchise from what we're
It's been an hour. They've already tuned out. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about that offline. Lower Decks is some of the best Star Trek I've seen in years. And
I haven't gotten to finish the series.
I'm sorry?
I haven't gotten to finish the series because I got into season 3. I started watching season 4, and then my buddy who was letting me borrow his Paramount Plus account discontinued it, and so I haven't been able to watch it.
I cried at the end of Lower Decks. I cried for the storyline, and I cried that the show was over. It is a real
not emotional, can it?
It is. It really is. It's worth it. I'm texting you my password.
Can you see smoke coming out of my ears? Because my brain is just fried from this.
I'm sending you my password.
Okay. I will appreciate that. That'll be fun. Yeah. So anyway, we've hit an hour. We've talked our way through and around the subject of Wicket because there wasn't really much for us to talk about.
Oh, I discontinued it too. I'm sorry, Gary.
Sacrifices must be made.
I'll send you my Plex password. There we go.
Don't worry about it. We're good. I can Wikipedia it.
We're gonna have to title this Wicket Plus. Wicket.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap up here because we've been. I mean, this has been a great conversation. It's gone in every single direction I did not anticipate, but this has been good. Brian,
that Mark is the guide rails on this podcast.
Probably.
Without the occasional Mark saying, well, moving on back to our topic. Bye, Mark. I hope you feel better. Anyway, Star Trek and Scrubs.
What we need to do, you know what we need to do is we just need to do like a 4-hour live stream, just you and me riffing.
Yeah.
God, we would talk about everything.
And it'd be funny to make a video of like just get a supercut of Mark trying to interject. And just like have him in the corner, just like guys, I gotta get out of here. I got a babysitter. It's not cheap.
I gotta go drive a bus.
Guys, Lily needs. I gotta go. We gotta wrap it up.
My wife is actually mad at me now. All right, Brian, why don't you tell the folks out there where they can connect with you?
You can find me. I'm a boomer, so I'm predominantly on Facebook. I do not do the TikTok or the Instagrams or any of the other things there. But you can find me at 2 places predominantly. The Sith Library and Archives. Look for the ampersand. I post as Darth Corrosis, one of the few things I wrote in 8th grade that I'm proud of. It's my Sith character from West End Games. It is a lovingly curated collection of dark side, empire, and general evil culture jokes and art that we gather from across the HoloNet. From the heights of the HoloNet to the underside of the Undervine, we are bringing you the best of the dark side all over the net. I also post on the Galactic Empire as Lieutenant Commander Merryweather, which is the other thing I wrote in 8th grade. That would be my other character name. That was my D&D jester name. So Lieutenant Commander Merryweather, the Public Affairs Officer of the Imperial Star Destroyer Crotalis. And that is a more military and propaganda-minded webpage or Facebook page. So anyway, Sith Library and the Galactic Empire. You can find me both there. And we would love to have you over there. Come over and check us out.
Awesome. As for me, you guys can connect with me on Instagram and X at GKJ_publishing, where I talk about my books, The Archives of Asim Koran, and my short story compilation, Midnight Playground. I also have a channel on YouTube. Just search for The Right Way, or you can look for it. GKJ Publishing is what I go under on YouTube. And then I have a new episode of Snack-A-Maze, the other show I'm a part of on Feast of Fandoms. We are going to be having that episode drop a week from Friday. We are going to be talking about an anime on Netflix called You Lie in April. It's very monthly thematic. As for War of the Stars, you can connect with us. Let me get rid of that. You guys can connect with us on through email, warofthestars1@gmail.com, or Blue Sky, Instagram, X, YouTube. I believe we're on TikTok. I don't remember. But all of the socials, just look for War of the Stars 77. If you want to support the show, we are on Ko-fi.com/War of the Stars, or our shop on Spreadshirt.com. Just do a search for War of the Stars. We have great merch on there, and every little bit helps. Of course, we're a proud member of Feast of Fandoms. We have a great listing of shows. MCU Mondays kicks off the week, and we have Captain Logs and Lightsabers, which is kind of quasi-monthly, quasi-weekly. Then we've got a huge 2-day block of Star Wars between War of the Stars and Cantina Happy Hour. And of course, Snack-A-Maze once a month. And then every Saturday we get we've also got a new blurb that comes out like every couple of weeks on Battlestar Galactica. So for those of you who are on that Starfront, you're going to want to like take a look at that. And also, speaking of Feast of Fandom, that QR code in the corner above my head, if you scan that with your phone, you'll be able to go right directly to the Feast of Fandom's page and get subscribed. As for next week, we are going to be doing our tier list of Star Wars animated series on Disney Plus. So if you haven't watched the show, spoiler alert. All right. As for us, we're out of here. Just remember, this is not your Star Wars. This is not my Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. So until next week, may the Force be with you.